Nobody sits you down and tells you, your wife might be in the hospital for an extended period of time. She won't be able to work. She won't be able to do anything. Yes. Nobody tells you that your husband may die, your wife may die. Do you understand? Nobody tells you that. So there's a need to plan. Still talking about unforeseen circumstances, there are some other times in our life, in our married life, that we've had really big issues that have taken a huge toll on our marriage. And I think one of the issues that we've had has been with my mom.
Yeah, gong. That is the
that's the real
one.
Yeah. So my mom has always been a very independent, firebrand type woman. She's
no nonsense.
She gets stuff done, and she's always just been young. Like I try to remember my mom when I was young, and my mom when I'm older, and it's pretty much the same person with the same energy, the same everything. There's not been much of a difference, and then one year she just started having these depression issues. It wasn't even a physical thing, because if it was a physical thing,
it would have been easy to say,
okay, it's a physical thing, let's address it. But we just started noticing little things.
She was paranoid.
She just started getting paranoid about certain things. She would be anxious about stuff, and all of a sudden,
we didn't pick up on
the signs, and by the time
we just kept thinking she was being difficult.
Yeah, I'm just like, why are you being difficult? Blah blah blah. And then because obviously she's strong-willed and all that, we just
thought she was being stubborn.
So there was a lot of believe her, she would sort herself out, you know. But by the time she was eventually diagnosed,
when COVID happened was what now escalated.
So when COVID happened, and now all these issues now became really pronounced.
Yeah,
and then after some time, we eventually figured it out, and then she got diagnosed, and we found out that she had anxiety and depression, and it was bad. Like, and the crazy thing, what they don't really tell you about mental health is the psychiatrist had to explain this to us.
She's in her own reality.
She has her reality, and that reality is as real to her
as we are here.
Our reality is to us. So you are battling against someone who completely believes that what they're saying, what they're doing, what they believe
is happening to them. It's fact.
It's irrefutable fact. I remember, like, there were times where she couldn't be alone by herself because she didn't have strength. She was falling, but she would never admit it. She would, try to do things. She would try to cope. Then you're trying to give her medication. She thinks she thought we were trying to poison her. Like, it was absolutely crazy. So we had to be doing like shifts. Like, there was this.
I think I had to call my mom.
72-hour shift.
I had to call my mom, like, Mommy, please, I need you because I'm not even around. I'm upstairs with grandma. I can't leave her, and the kids come back from school. I don't have a full-time nanny, so I just need you to come. Just help me take care of the children.
And she can't handle my mom alone. I can't handle my mom alone. So it was just.
And you had work.
Yes, and I still had work.
You had work. I wasn't working, so I was the one with her.
There was this tag team thing that we ended up doing. So I'd go to work. She'd be with her during the day. Then I'd come back. I'd be with her overnight. It was just completely crazy. Like, really crazy things. Like, she would. There was I remember one particular incident where she thought like her room was on fire.
Yes.
And there was nothing.
She would come out, smoke. Can't you people see the smoke?
Can't you see it? And it was so
Mommy,
crazy.
There's no smoke. No, you people can't. You're not seeing what I'm seeing. And I'm like,
It was so crazy. And my siblings don't live in Nigeria. They all live abroad, and they were trying to.
They couldn't come because there was the travel ban.
Yeah, there was COVID. There was travel ban, so they were trying to get in touch and all that.
So every time I was with her, I would constantly do
video
calls without her knowing. just so that they could see her. And, because if she knew, because I would use them to threaten her, like, I'll call them to come. She'd be like, yeah, don't call them to come. I'll eat. Okay, I'll take the medicine. I'll do this. So I would find different ways to cajole her.
And then at some point, she now started having actual physical symptoms because her health now started deteriorating. Yeah. So we now started dealing with the health challenge and the mental health challenge together. And it was tough. It was tough as a couple. And this is your family member. You can't throw them away. Yeah. I remember once when we had to have her admitted in the hospital, and it was a struggle. It
was a very emotional
because
day.
It now felt like we were abandoning her, and then she felt like we were completely abandoning her. I
won't forget, she held on to me for so long.
And
I shouldn't leave her. I promise I'll be good. I promise I'll be good.
Don't leave me. Don't leave me. But you know that you have to
keep her
there. It was so crazy. It
was emotional.
It was a really tough time, and nothing
prepares you for
that. And I honestly can't say categorically, other than the fact that, we are a unit and we had agreed to always face things together, how we got through that time.
Yeah.
Because, it was
even
enough.
the doctors had to advise us that, guys, you can't expand.
You can't do beyond what you can do, because if you don't take it easy, it will take a toll on your marriage. It will take a toll on your health.
Yeah.
Because, there was that constant... It's a full-time job dealing with someone that... like I said, if it was a completely physical thing, that, okay, take this medication. And I remember when they were trying medications, because they don't really know which one is going to work. And then some medications will have it completely... There was one time medication they were giving her, she was fainting.
She was hallucinating. There was
one she was hallucinating. It was just insane. And thankfully, we were able to get through that by just agreeing that we'll be together. There'll be times I'll be short-fused because I'm cranky, I'm stressed.
And I'm wondering, why are you cranky?
Yeah, and then there are times she's short-fused and upset, and I'm like, is where we are. What do you want me to do about it? That kind of thing. But we didn't allow the circumstance come between us, because we understood that we were not the enemy of each other. We're not fighting each other. We had a problem, a challenge that we needed to face, and we needed to try and fix it together. And I think that's how we were able
to overcome,
to get through that. Because if not, people have gotten divorced for less.
And I feel like love
is key.
Love. I preach love. Like, love heals a lot of things. Love, it's not easy.
Because love is not an emotion.
Yes, you just have to act it.
I think people need to really understand. Love is not an emotion. Yeah. Love is an action.
An action.
It's a decision. I am going to do this thing because I believe that this person deserves it. Even if they don't deserve it, not deserve. I believe that this person needs it. Exactly. That's it. So, and
strangely enough, till date, it is me. Do I have a cold? What should I take? Thing. I'll not be like, okay, it's not really a cold. But I think, okay, if you think it's a cold, let's try this. If she's going to the hospital, is Bio not coming? It's Bio that knows what's going on. I'm always like, okay. But
because even when I get, as in at times when I would just get short-fused, and I'm like, no, you have to, this Bio that, like, calm down.
Hey, mommy, what do you want? So we now realize that,
I think it's after that, and that thing they say about what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah.
There's a lot of truth to that. I believe that our marriage is stronger because we've been through quite a number of things that because it didn't break us, we're able to hold on tighter and be stronger. Okay. I believe that. So
we have a guest
today.
With us.
We have someone who also has been through an unforeseen circumstance, and it's one thing that I think is my worst nightmare. And she has somehow been able to go through that, and I think it would be great to just hear from her and figure out and listen to how she was able to navigate that situation, or is still navigating that situation. So we have in our building on set with us Funmi Oyaide. Awesome Funmi,
to be
who is
here.
always looking fly.
Beautiful.
Drip.
You're too kind. Yeah, it's great to be here.
Thank you for
beautiful
coming.
setup. I'm excited. Great combo.
Thanks a lot.
You guys are my therapist for the day.
We're happy.
Pro
We're
bono.
happy.
See
We're
that?
happy. We're happy to help.
Yeah.
So, Funmi, tell us quickly what you do.
Okay, Funmi Oyaide. I am a mom of 2, recently widowed. I'm still trying to get used to that term to describe myself. Not so early on into the conversation. We'll get to we'll get
What
to
you
it.
do?
Yeah. So what I did for a couple of years, I did some talent work, anchor work with Suburban Television. And then on, I moved to producing and directing, and I left in 2020 when the pandemic hit, because I was just over it. I was burnt out. I was tired. I was on a live show, breakfast show, 5 days a week. It didn't matter if it was Christmas. I had to be there. So, and I'd worked for 16 years straight through two babies. And my kind of pregnancy was, you see me at work today, and then you just hear, oh, Funmi had a baby yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And then in 3 months, I'm back at work.
work.
So I never really had time. I never really took breaks. I loved the job, and, and I'm really grateful for that. All of that, that's just part of the things you go through in life that's kind of shape you. So I left in 2020. I was over it. I didn't care. I didn't want to work. In my mind, I was retired. So I didn't want to do anything after that. And then I just stumbled into esthetician life, and it became a permanent makeup, tattoo artist, and opened up a spa. I was, soft life. I became my own boss. I didn't care, just doing my own things, And sometime this year, I just got a call. Someone goes, Funmi, do you want to come back to media? I'm like, if the price is right, let's see how it goes. So I did a Zoom interview, and before you know, I got the job as entertainment producer.
Oh, okay.
So
nice.
back into that life again.
But it's not as hectic as it was.
No, honestly, it's like super easy this
No.
time. Yeah, because I'm even having to go to my line manager, like, can you give me something more stimulating, more challenging, so that I don't, end up just crying at work because I'm doing nothing.
Oh, okay.
So so that's it about me. What do I like to do? I'm very introverted. Forget anything you see, or maybe my tattoos or anything. I don't really like people. I like to be by myself. Is that weird? I'm weird.
No, it's fine. I'm sure you have a lot of people like you too.
I don't like to go out. I just like to stay home. I do lots of reading, meditating. I'm very spiritual like that. So I believe in energies. I believe in God and all of that, but I also believe in the universe and, vibes. Because that's what you can really pick up. It doesn't matter what kind of face someone gives you. You can always tell when someone is genuine, vibe, or not. Just kind of sense their vibe and feel their hearts and all of that. So, I think that's me. Then, which is weird because with everything that's happened to me recently, I'm almost kind of losing my identity and having to find myself again. It's really hard. I have, sorry, my thoughts are all over the place.
No, it's fine.
You get me just
we'll rope you in.
Right, please do that when you see me just, ranting. I have a friend he's in the UK, a high school friend, so he's almost like my therapist, that I talk to and everything. And I found myself telling him 2 days ago, like, I feel like someone took my mind away from me and has replaced it with someone else that I'm trying to
figure out
who that person is. Because I see things I used to like just a few months ago, I don't care. And it's just like, almost like my personality is still there. I'm still introverted. All of the things I mentioned, but I'm almost like trying to still figure myself out. I'm 44 years old, and I should have it pretty much, in bag by now. But I'm still, it's almost like something like a child trying to navigate. Figure out, what you want to do with your life. And what's, what you just, it's just hard.
Well, we've gone through
a
lot. Really big change. And I think...
huge.
Yes, and I think that marriage becomes a huge part of your identity when it happens. So as much as I'm Rogba, she's Bio, I'm Bio's husband. And if I were to lose that, it would be like, I can imagine trying to, because I'm Tenny's dad, there are these other facets of it. So you said what you've gone through recently, and I assume that you're talking about the fact that you've been widowed.
Yes.
First of all, what was marriage like?
That's what nobody ever tells you. It's still death do us pass, sickness and health. We went through the whole sickness part. Okay, first of all, we're together for 19 years. We dated for 5 years, married for 14 years. Wow. So that's like a lifetime. Literally a lifetime. The early days were great, which is weird because when he passed, those were the memories
that kept coming up.
Because I'm not gonna lie, it was up and down, and lots of challenges. Marriage is just hard. But the good thing about it gets easier as the kids get older, because no matter what your husband is doing, you look at your kids and you think, I'm not going to have it any other way. I was meant to be here. These are the kids I want to have. And it had to be with you, So, I mean, marriage is great when, you're together. Now I know how awesome my marriage was. Now that I don't have it anymore. Yeah. So, it's beyond, love. And it's just having to live with someone and just understand that people change. He changed, I changed as well. Yeah. And we're just able to coexist and live together. It was great. I have tons of memories. It was great. And just knowing you have a companion. And this is me that doesn't like to go anywhere. So he was that kind of person as well. So we really gelled on that. A perfect night for us to be, just order in and watch a movie. Wow. So it got me on tons of series that I know in my life, or even Game of Thrones. I mean, it was great, but I mean, it wasn't that
your
great.
type of,
so,
your type of. Oh no, don't say that because someone
I know. I feel like Game of Thrones. They're like series for men and they're series for women. I just feel like it was leaning more towards like the guys for me. It's like Handmaid's Tale.
I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go.
We'll have this argument forever. And there's also something about when something is so mainstream and everybody's on it, I feel like it's not so niche anymore, and I don't want to be part of it.
Oh,
so that was what it was for me again, because everybody in the office was talking about it, and I was over it. It's like Black Panther. I didn't see it until like a year later because I was just like, everybody is on it, you know. But there are so many great movies that came out this year that nobody knows about. So I'm always very particular like that. So I think marriage was great. It was first 5 years awesome.
Oh, really?
Next 5 years not so great. And then you're dating someone that is married to someone that is like a celebrity. You know, sometimes they get, you know, a big head, and you know, you tend to kind of be relegated to the back burner a bit, you know. And
because they're kind of like center of attraction.
Yeah, like I have to do this, I have to go here, I have to. So we had that for almost like the next 5 years. So it was hard for me to adjust to that because we're coming from you that's it's you now.
Both of us
you always be Onome, you know. You're not big time when you're in this house. Like I can't even relate to you on that level. Once in a while, maybe I go somewhere and I hear his voice on the radio. I'm like, it's not so bad, you know. But yeah, it's still on the man. It's still on the man, yeah. You know, so I'm not bothered, you know. So that was for me the biggest issues we had. And of course, you know, with marriage, there's always money issues. There's in-law issues. You know? There's so many factors that come into that. But it was a great marriage. Now that, you know,
you look back.
Yeah, it was awesome. We're coming, and what was so weird for me and so incredibly painful for me was we had gone through so much and we're just coming out on the other side. You know, there's certain things, you know, I can't share because it's like just me saying, and there's nobody to back up what I'm saying. So I'd rather not just say, you know, but I'll just say there were difficult times, and especially when he had a health scare in 2018. He had a stroke. He could, just like you were saying with Rogba, so I could relate to that, not knowing he was going to come out of a stroke, not knowing he was going to die,
Yeah, I heard
or be able
about
to have all his muscle functions.
I remember I was upset with him when I think he had posted something on social media. I commented, he didn't. So, but he now sent me a WhatsApp message and I was like, bros, now it's been a long time. And you're like, oh, I just got out of a stroke. I think I just went I went ballistic on him. And I'm like, why would you do this? You know, and then we had a very long conversation and we said, okay, we'll definitely continue keeping in touch and all of that. So I can't even imagine what that would have done.
It was really difficult because I had to stop work for like 4 months, you know. The company supported, but by the 3rd month, you know, they cut me off, but they kept him on the payrolls. Everything you guys just shared with Rogba feeling helpless and, you know,
could relate.
We went through all of that. And for me, I didn't know if he was ever going to walk again because he could talk, he could eat, he could do all of that. So I didn't have to feed him, but I had to bathe him, I had to change his diapers, you know, and all of that, which was crazy. And we had a physio guy that would come every day and help him walk. So in 4 months, he was back to walking, you know, everything, diet was on point, you know, everything was great. But then shortly after that, a couple of years later, of course, he, you know, because he was retired, he wasn't big time anymore. So he kind of lost his identity, I think. And now that I think about it, maybe there was a bit of, you know, mental health issues
at the time.
He was kind of depressed. I guess he was bored as well. There was a lot of that. So he just...
Because there was more free time on his hands.
So he just, you know, started eating a lot more. So we used to clash about that. You know, I didn't help either because... You know, like you mentioned, I'd lost weight. So I was also culpable. We're eating and, you know, all of that. So it was just a lot to deal with. Yes. And then when he passed, there was tons of guilt on my part. Like maybe I should have done more. Maybe I should have, you know, called someone and said, you know, insisted that, you know,
you need to
our
talk
diet
to someone.
and everything, you know, but when you yourself are not even living that lifestyle, it's really hard to say, okay, you know what, don't eat or don't, you know. So I went through a whole lot. I mean, and his passing was so sudden, so unexpected that sometimes I still have to remember that there are times when I forget. And I've been dealing with that lately. It's a weird headspace to be in because the kids, you know, children are children. Once in a while, they get the feels, they cry.
Yeah.
They come to me, they cry, oh, I miss daddy so much. But there are also times where they're happy. So I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer and not be happy with them. But then when I catch myself happy and smiling,
you feel like, oh,
and
am
I
I
feel
forgetting?
so guilty, like, what are you happy about? You know, why are you happy? Are you supposed to be happy? Especially at work. A lot of people don't, and you know, it was even hard having to go to work because the new job, I was supposed to start work on May 2nd and it passed on April 30th. So it was like it passed the weekend, I was supposed to start work. So there was that, okay, at that point I was even thinking about work. So, but they called and said, okay, are you still coming or not? I was like, look, my husband just passed and I'm still trying to think about, you know, funeral arrangements. I'm not in this headspace now, but how long can you give me realistically before I can start work? And he said, you know, let's give you a month after the funeral and see how that goes. You know, and then that happened, funeral happened like 2 weeks after. And everybody around me was like, you have to go back to work. You have to. You need, first of all, you need the income. And you can't just, what are you going to do? Sit around and mope? Well, what are you going to do? You have 2 kids to take care of. I have a 14-year-old and I have a 12-year-old. How are you going to navigate that? How are you going to, you know? So I had to go to work. I say all of that to say, you know, even at work, a couple of people know. People that were part of my, you know, interview and all of that. And they knew about the delay, my line manager and so forth. But my other colleagues at work, every time, you know, someone just mentions something about marriage or, oh, your big time's wife. No, not like your big time's wife. Like, are you married? I say, yes, but my husband died 2 months ago. They look at me in shock. And the first thing they say is, you're strong. But I'm not strong. You know how you get that thing where you say, I'm okay, but I'm not okay. I'm smiling, but in my head, silent screaming the whole time. That's been my reality for a while. You know, there are times when I feel like I'm having a panic attack, I can't breathe. Because I keep replaying that time. I was in the room when this happened.
Oh, wow.
I don't think I've told you guys the story
No,
yet.
because
I'm going to need this in a minute. I'm on my laptop doing some work. We was watching something. What was he watching? Outlander, I think, on Netflix.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Maybe you should have given me this. It's just like a trigger.
Sorry.
He was so he passed out and he was sleeping. So and when he sleeps, he usually snores. So and I had my headphones on, you know, because I told him to wait for me to watch the episode with him, and he said, you know, no, he couldn't wait because he usually sleeps. That was present tense. So weird. He was on a ton of
Sorry.
medication. So he's usually asleep by 7:38. Okay, so he was. I couldn't tell if he was sleeping or not. So I was doing some work on the laptop, and then I just turned. I removed the headphones, and I heard him. I could hear him snoring. So in my mind, I was like, you didn't even tell me you're sleeping, you know. So I just closed the laptop. I need to get dinner to eat. I'd literally dropped the food on the table in the room. I just heard him, like it was almost like a cough or like a big wheezing sound, and he just shut up. So I'm like, what now? You know, because I'm always like, you're dramatic. I mean, my husband has a headache. He thinks he has a brain aneurysm and he's Googling stuff. I'm like, don't Google any symptoms. I mean, if you're sick, let's go to the hospital. And he's also that kind of person that has malaria. Me, because I know I have to cook, I have to clean, I have to take care of the house. When I feel like I might be a bit off, I want to have like a fever, immediately I go on malaria meds, you know, I take care of myself. So I don't get to that point where
you can't do anything.
I can't, thank you. So, but for him, he gets to that point, so he's just on the bed shivering like, oh, I'm so sick. And then I have to take care of him. So in my mind, I was like, okay, so what now? And then I now saw he was like stretching, his eyes were bulging, and it was the weirdest thing, you know. And then the next thing, they were calling me inside. They said the doctor called me inside. You know, I didn't even know at that time he had passed. They didn't want to tell me. The next thing I saw, his cousin came and said, Funmi, Onome has passed. I can't tell you what happened after that. All I know is I heard my son screaming, no, daddy can't go. Daddy can't be dead, you know. And then it was difficult, you know, having to...
Hold.
Yeah,
you don't cut things like this.
Don't
cut things.
I know it's...
We that sweat a lot. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
You can't see it, Abby.
Come on, do it.
See it. So I'm not mad. See, I'm not mad.
So I didn't stabilize.
You've touched on, you've spoken about how...
Hold. The garbage truck. I heard this since I was waiting for your signal.
Garbage truck.